In today's world, being busy has become a badge of honor. People proudly announce how packed their calendars are, how little sleep they've gotten, how many emails they've answered, as if that alone is evidence of success. But let's pause for a moment and really think, does being constantly in motion truly mean we're achieving anything worthwhile? There is a major difference between being active and being effective. Activity simply means you are doing something, anything. But achievement means you are doing the right things that take you closer to a goal, a purpose, a destination. The truth is, you can be the busiest person in the room and still be miles away from your dreams. Without clarity and direction, activity becomes noise. Motion without progress. Let's use an analogy. Imagine you're running on a treadmill. You're sweating, you're breathing hard, you're exerting energy, you're busy. But no matter how fast or how long you run, you're not going anywhere, you're stuck in place. Now compare that to someone taking slow but steady steps up a mountain trail. They may not look as exhausted or as fast, but every step they take moves them closer to the summit. The difference, one is active, the other is achieving. This is why it's important to stop and ask yourself, what am I really working toward? Are the things I spend time on every day helping me grow, develop, move forward? Or am I just filling my day with low-impact activities that look like work but produce no lasting value? Emails, meetings, errands, phone calls, they feel important in the moment. They keep you occupied. They make you feel like you're handling business. But when you evaluate them at the end of the week, how many of those things actually push the needle forward? How many of them contributed to your long-term vision? People often confuse being tired with being productive. They think, if I'm exhausted at the end of the day, I must have accomplished something. But exhaustion is not the proof of progress. It's possible, and all too common, to be exhausted from doing things that don't matter. You can spend an entire day working hard and still be no closer to your goals than when you started. True achievement begins with intentionality. It starts by identifying what matters most and aligning your actions with that. It means learning to say no to distractions, to empty obligations, to tasks that drain your time without delivering results. It means scheduling your life around your priorities, not your distractions. Here's a simple truth. What you do daily shapes what you become eventually. If your days are filled with shallow activity, your future will reflect that. But if your days are guided by focused, intentional action, you will move forward, even if slowly, toward a life of substance and meaning. Business can be a form of procrastination. It tricks you into thinking you're doing something valuable, when in reality you're avoiding the hard, high-impact tasks that actually drive results. You clean your desk instead of making that difficult phone call. You attend back-to-back meetings instead of finishing the proposal that would land a major client. You answer emails all morning instead of writing the business plan you've been postponing for months. The busier you feel, the less likely you are to notice you're avoiding what truly matters. So don't let yourself get caught in the activity trap. Challenge yourself to evaluate your efforts with this question and facing it. Is this helping me move forward or just keeping me busy? Productivity isn't about how much you do. It's about what you get done that actually matters. Achievement requires depth, not just motion. It demands thought, strategy, and courage. The courage to focus, the discipline to cut the clutter, and the wisdom to invest your time where it truly counts. Don't confuse energy with effectiveness. Don't measure your value by how many hours you worked, but by how much closer you are to your vision. Remember, you can run in circles all day and still be in the same place. But one step in the right direction, even if small, brings you closer to your destination. Activity is not achievement. Let your efforts count. Let your actions have meaning. Let your days build your future, not just fill your calendar. Not everything that demands your attention deserves it. One of the most common traps people fall into is the belief that urgency equals importance. Something comes up, a phone rings, a message pops up, Someone asks for a favor, and instantly it pulls your focus. The day becomes a whirlwind of reacting instead of creating, responding instead of leading. And yet, when you step back, you may realize that many of those urgent demands had little to no long-term value. The key to real productivity is learning to distinguish between what is urgent and what is important. Urgent things scream the loudest. They make you feel needed. They pressure you into quick decisions, and they leave you feeling like you're constantly putting out fires. But importance often whispers. Important tasks are quiet, patient, and easily overlooked. They're things like building a strategy, developing a skill, deepening relationships, planning your future. Actions that won't yell for your attention, but will shape your life if given consistent time. People often confuse the two because urgency feels productive. It gives a sense of movement. You're answering emails, responding to clients, jumping from one crisis to another, and it feels like you're accomplishing a lot. But here's the truth. Urgent tasks rarely change your life. They maintain the system, but they don't improve it. Important tasks, though less exciting, are the ones that build, grow, and transform your life over time. The challenge is that the urgent will always try to interrupt the important. A quick meeting request shows up when you had planned to work on a personal project. A colleague wants your input immediately when you were about to sit and reflect. And because we don't want to disappoint others or seem unhelpful, we shift, we adjust, we abandon the important to cater to the urgent. But when that happens every day, week after week, year after year, we end up with a life full of business but lacking fulfillment. To break this cycle, you must start by identifying what is truly important to you. What are the tasks, goals, and values that, if consistently prioritized, would move your life, career, or character forward? Once you're clear on that, you need to protect those priorities with boundaries. That may mean blocking out time in your schedule, turning off notifications, or even saying no more often. Not because you're rude or unavailable, but because you respect your time and purpose enough to guard it. The people who achieve great things aren't those who respond to everything. They are those who respond to the right things. They have learned that doing less with intention is far better than doing more without direction. They don't measure their productivity by how many tasks they finished, but by whether they made real progress on what matters most. It's important to also understand that not everything urgent is bad. Sometimes true emergencies arise. Life happens. But the danger lies in making urgency a habit, in living in a constant state of reaction instead of creation. That's when stress builds, focus dissolves, and potential goes untapped. You need to slow down and ask, is this urgent thing in front of me actually important? If I don't respond right now, will it hurt my mission, my vision, or my growth? Or am I just reacting out of habit? That one moment of reflection can shift your entire day from reactive to proactive. So choose wisely where your attention goes. Your focus is one of your greatest resources, and just because something is loud doesn't mean it's valuable. Mastering the art of choosing the important over the urgent is a skill that, once developed, will elevate your life far beyond what business alone could ever achieve. Effort is admirable, but effort without focus is like light without a lens, scattered, weak, and ineffective. Focus, on the other hand, channels your energy into a single direction, creating momentum, power, and meaningful progress. Many people work incredibly hard, pouring hours into their day, staying late, waking up early, sacrificing sleep and leisure. And yet they wonder why they don't feel any closer to their goals. The answer is usually simple. They're moving fast, but they're not moving with purpose. Direction always comes before speed. It's far more important to know where you're going than how fast you're getting there. A person walking in the right direction will always outpace someone running in the wrong one. Focus gives your effort purpose. It aligns your actions with your goals. It tells you not just what to do, but what to not to do. Because not everything deserves your time. Not everything moves you forward. And without focus, you waste energy on the wrong things and call it hard work. There's a big difference between being busy and being effective. You can have a full calendar and still have an empty outcome. You can be engaged in dozens of tasks, but none of them taking you closer to where you truly want to be. Focus is what filters out the noise. It gives clarity to your decisions and precision to your execution. It doesn't allow you to drift aimlessly through your day. It keeps your eyes on the target. People who understand the power of focus don't chase every opportunity. They don't say yes to everything. They evaluate every demand with one simple question: does this serve my mission? If it doesn't, they let it go. Not out of laziness, but out of discipline, because they know that focus is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most with excellence and consistency. And here's the truth. Focus isn't natural in today's world. Everything is designed to steal your attention. Notifications, emails, endless content, constant updates. All of it is built to keep your mind distracted. So staying focused is a choice you have to make daily. It's a habit you have to build. It's a boundary you have to enforce. You can't wait for the world to give you focus. You have to take it, protect it, guard it like the valuable resource it is. You can have all the motivation in the world, but without focus, you'll waste it. You can read the books, attend the seminars, make the vision boards, but if your daily actions are scattered, you won't gain traction. Focus brings compound returns. 1 hour of focused work is worth 5 hours of distracted activity. 1 month of consistent effort in the right direction can do more for your life than a year of shallow multitasking. It's time to stop wearing your exhaustion as a trophy. It's not how many hours you work, it's how you use those hours. The goal is not to fill your day with tasks. The goal is to fill your day with progress. And progress only comes when effort meets direction. So ask yourself, what are you focusing on right now? Are you putting your energy toward things that matter, or are you just trying to keep up with the noise? Take a step back, realign, and recommit to what truly counts. Because in the end, effort alone won't get you there, but effort with focus will. Most people don't take the time to evaluate where their time actually goes. They wake up, dive into the day, respond to whatever comes their way, and then wonder why they feel unfulfilled or stuck. The truth is, if you don't examine your habits and priorities regularly, you can end up building a life that looks busy but lacks meaning. Success isn't accidental. It's the result of intentional living, and that starts with auditing your time and aligning it with your values and goals. Every day, you make choices, some big, many small. But over time, those small, daily decisions shape your results. The question is, are your habits helping you become the person you want to be, or are they just helping you stay busy? It's easy to get caught up in routines that feel productive, but aren't actually moving you forward. You might be checking off tasks, meeting expectations, handling responsibilities, but if those things aren't connected to your true priorities, then they're distractions in disguise. That's why taking time to reflect is essential. Sit down and look at your day, your week, your month. Where is your time going? What's getting most of your energy? More importantly, is that investment of time bringing you closer to the life you want to live? You might discover that you're spending more time reacting to other people's agendas than working on your own goals. You might find that habits you thought were harmless, like scrolling through your phone or saying yes to everything, are quietly draining hours of your life. Evaluating your priorities doesn't just mean making a to-do list. It means making a decide to-do list, choosing the few things that matter most and committing to them. It means being honest about what deserves your attention and what doesn't. And sometimes it means letting go of habits, routines, or even relationships that no longer align with your vision. The danger of not doing this is living on autopilot. You keep doing what you've always done without questioning if it still serves your purpose. But the most successful people are constantly adjusting. They're not afraid to shift direction if something isn't working. They know that growth requires change, and change requires awareness. Don't let the pressure to stay busy stop you from being strategic. Just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's right. Just because something takes effort doesn't mean it's effective. And just because everyone else is doing it doesn't mean you should too. Your path is your own, and your habits should reflect that. Build routines that support your unique goals. Choose actions that align with your long-term vision, not just short-term comfort. Start by asking yourself each morning, what's the one thing I can do today that will make the biggest difference in my future? Then structure your day around that answer. Over time, those focused actions will build momentum, and momentum turns into progress. Progress fueled by clarity creates purpose. So if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, don't automatically work harder. First, look at what you're working on. Audit your time. Evaluate your habits. Realign your priorities. Because when your actions match your ambitions, you stop wasting time and start building a life that matters. Growth is not measured by how much you do, but by what you accomplish. Just because you're always moving doesn't mean you're moving forward. It's easy to fall into the trap of constant activity, always on the go, always in a rush, juggling tasks, and feeling like you're making progress simply because you're tired at the end of the day. But exhaustion is not a sign of growth. Growth is measured in results, in change, in improvement, not in how busy you look or feel. So many people confuse movement with momentum. But there's a big difference. Movement means you're doing something, maybe even a lot of things. Momentum means you're doing the right things in a way that builds on itself, creating continuous forward motion. Movement can be circular. You can be spinning your wheels all day and end up in the same spot. Momentum, on the other hand, takes you from one level to the next because it's powered by clarity, purpose, and focused execution. People often say, I'm doing everything I can, but nothing is changing. And the hard truth is that doing everything doesn't always help. In fact, doing too much can spread your energy thin and keep you from doing any one thing well. Growth doesn't come from multitasking your life away. It comes from mastering a few critical habits and repeating them consistently. It's not about activity for the sake of activity. It's about intentional, strategic action that adds up over time. You have to stop and ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now actually producing results, or is it just keeping me occupied? Business can be a form of avoidance, a way to feel productive while avoiding the real, challenging work that leads to transformation. It's easier to answer emails than to sit down and write that proposal. It's more comfortable to attend back-to-back meetings than to confront a difficult decision or build something from scratch. But the real growth lies in the hard, focused, purposeful tasks that often go undone because they require more than just time. They require effort, focus, and courage. Success leaves clues. If you study people who truly grow in business, in life, in character, they all have something in common. They prioritize high-impact activities over high-quantity activities. They don't just fill their day, they fill it with meaning. They don't let movement become a substitute for progress. They track their outcomes, reflect often, and refine their actions until they get results. You can be busy for years and still not grow. You can be constantly in motion and still feel stuck. Growth demands more than energy. It demands direction, feedback, and, of course, correction. That's why reflection is so powerful. You must make time to step back, measure your progress, and ask tough questions. What's working? What's not? What needs to change? Real growth is visible. It shows up in your results, your mindset, your confidence, and your competence. It might not be fast, and it might not always be flashy, but it's always real. And it only comes when you stop confusing business with purpose. Don't wear your busy schedule like a badge of honor. Wear your growth, your progress, your improvement. That's what matters. Let your calendar reflect your vision, not just your tasks. Choose quality over quantity. Choose intention over impulse. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how much you moved. It's about how far you've come. Every day brings with it a choice to be intentional or to be reactive. Most people drift through their days, letting circumstances, other people's priorities, or random distractions dictate how their time is spent. But if you want to stop being busy and start being truly productive, you must make the conscious decision to take control of your time. Productivity is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. And that choice begins with intention. Being intentional means you decide in advance what matters most. It means you don't wait for motivation to show up or for the perfect moment to begin. You plan your actions with purpose. You wake up each day knowing what you need to do, why it matters, and how it fits into the bigger picture of your life. Without intention, your day will be stolen by distractions, and your time will be consumed by things that have no lasting value. Time is the most valuable asset you have. You can't earn more of it. You can't store it. Once it's gone forever. That's why intentionality is so important. Every hour wasted is an hour you never get back. And in the long run, the quality of your life will be determined by how you spent your time, not how much of it you had. People often say they're too busy to pursue their goals, too busy to invest in their health, too busy to work on their dreams. But the problem isn't a lack of time, it's a lack of priorities. Everyone has the same 24 hours. The difference is in how you choose to use them. Intentional people don't do everything, they do what matters. They don't chase every opportunity. They choose the ones that align with their mission. They don't just fill their schedule. They design it around their values. Intentional living also requires clarity. You can't make good decisions with a foggy mind. That's why it's important to take time regularly to reflect, to plan, and to reconnect with your goals. When you're clear about what you want, it becomes easier to say no to what you don't. It becomes easier to protect your focus, guard your energy, and resist the temptation of business for the sake of appearance. You have to become a gatekeeper of your own time. That means setting boundaries, eliminating distractions, and being willing to disappoint others in order to stay true to your vision. It may not always be comfortable, but it will always be worth it. Because when you're intentional, every task has purpose, every action has weight, and every day becomes a building block towards something meaningful. You must also understand that intentionality is not about perfection, it's about progress. Some days won't go as planned. Interruptions will happen. Life will get messy. But the point is not to control every moment. It's to direct most moments, to live by design, not by default, to make more choices based on purpose and fewer based on impulse. Intentional productivity leads to fulfillment. When your actions align with your goals and values, you don't just get more done. You feel better doing it. There's peace in knowing that your time is being invested, not wasted. There's confidence in knowing that your effort is going somewhere. And there's power in realizing that you are in charge of your results. So stop letting life just happen to you. Take the wheel. Be deliberate with your time, your energy, and your focus. Decide today what matters most and build your life around that decision. Because when you live intentionally, you stop being busy and you start becoming unstoppable.